This is 5 on 20 News with Luc Goodhart. It's Wednesday, June 21st, and we're coming to you live from our studio in downtown Tucson. I hope you're all surviving the insanely brutal heat wave we're in the middle of right now, and if you aren't, come cool off with me with some refreshing local headlines. This may come as a bit of a shock, but Arizona is facing a water shortage because of a nearly 2-decade-long drought in the Colorado River. The drought has caused Lake Mead in northern Arizona to decline to its lowest water levels ever, and calcium rings can now be seen lining the lake. If these conditions continue, experts say that the state may have to ration water use in the future for farmers and households. The current water elevation has dropped to 1,081 feet for Lake Mead, where Arizona draws much of its water. An Arizona budget document says that if the lake were to drop another 6 feet, then water to Arizona would likely be cut. What a happy thought. State water officials from Arizona, Nevada, and California, who all draw their water from the lake, are trying to reduce consumption and conserve water before this 6-foot drop occurs. A pilot program by the Bureau of Reclamation offers water rights holders money if they don't use up all of their allocated water. This includes members of the Colorado River Indian tribes who have claims to the water. Along with providing water, Lake Mead brings in about $312 million annually from tourists and campers. Maricopa County could lose almost $6 million per year from a recent decision to send misdemeanor inmates to a privately operated jail in Mesa. The Maricopa County Board of Supervisors voted unanimously to dip into reserve funds to cover the loss of revenue that used to be paid by the city of Mesa. Last month, Mesa City Council voted to enter a 3-year contract with CoreCivic, formerly known as Corrections Corporation of America, to house misdemeanor offenders instead of Maricopa County. First, they're adding private jails. Now they're adding semi-legitimate flights. The Phoenix Mesa Gateway Airport will soon offer 8 new destinations for Allegiant Airlines, the budget airline who buys used jets from legacy carriers like Delta and American, and whose flights can sometimes be found for under $50. In a press release, the airline said they would be offering flights to Boise, Indianapolis, Kansas City, Louisville, Milwaukee, St. Louis, Tampa, and Omaha. The Omaha and Tampa flights will only be available seasonally, but the rest will be year-round. So pretty soon you'll be able to pay $50 to regain your faith in God when you actually make it to your destination on one of Allegiant's aging fleet of McDonnell Douglas MD Super 80 aircraft. But act soon. According to Allegiant, they plan to replace those terrifyingly old MD-80s with new, well, almost new, Airbus A320s by 2020. Electric car giant Tesla Motors got approval to have dealerships in the state of Arizona for the first time. Tesla already has a showroom in Scottsdale, but they haven't been able to sell the cars, which is kind of a problem. In 2012, the Arizona Department of Transportation upheld an Arizona law that bars manufacturers from selling cars directly to customers. In 2015, Tesla tried to get the state to change the law to no avail. Why such obstacles? Well, it turns out that car dealerships have been playing their cards right and donating to the right people. For example, Tucson car dealer Jim Click is among the state's largest individual contributors to political campaigns, giving more than $370,000 to the Republican Party in 2014. This included almost $150,000 to Governor Doug Ducey. Click was also one of 5 people to serve on Ducey's inaugural committee. But leave it to the courts to ruin the Ducey gravy train. In July, a judge ruled that the state had to give Tesla a license. Judge Gerald Hale said that Tesla has no network of dealers and the prohibition against other dealers doesn't apply. The Department of Transportation sued over the case, but a Superior Court judge dismissed it. Guess you'll just have to save up a little more money for next year, Mr. Click. Now in national and international news, former Homeland Security Chief Jay Johnson testified this morning in a hearing about Russian meddling in last year's presidential election. Johnson's opening statement accused the Russian government of orchestrating cyber attacks on the U.S. for the purpose of influencing our election. However, Johnson told the Intelligence Committee that there was no evidence of vote tampering by Russian hackers. He also defended the Obama administration's decision not to make a public statement about the Russian meddling until fall of last year, a statement that was overshadowed by the infamous Donald Trump Access Hollywood tapes. Johnson said that he wished they got the message out sooner and that he would have camped out with a sleeping bag in front of the DNC to get them to take the issue seriously. He also expressed disappointment that the DNC refused help from Homeland Security in the lead-up to the election. Hey, remember that near-unanimous vote for a bill to toughen sanctions on Russia? The one that would prevent the president from removing sanctions? Well, it's now being held up by Republican Representative Kevin Brady because he says that it violates so-called blue slip laws in Congress. A blue slip law means that all bills involving revenue have to originate in the House, whereas the sanctions bill was passed by the Senate. Brady pushed aside suggestions that he was trying to protect the Trump administration, promising that the House will act to preserve the Constitution. He said that if this wasn't the case, then the Senate could send back the bill to make updates. Speaker of the House Paul Ryan said that he supports the sanctions, but that the process of passing the bill was in violation of the Constitution because of the blue slip problem. Senator Bob Corker of Tennessee said that the House expressed concern over one piece of the legislation, but he didn't elaborate on which piece this was. Democrats blasted the move as an attempt to slow the legislation. However, Democrats such as Representative Eliot Engel said that this could easily be fixed with the House passing their own bill quickly. But this sentiment was dashed when every Republican representative called in sick today. And remember when the president tweeted that Ford was scrapping plans to set up a factory in Mexico and bring it to the U.S.? Yeah, that didn't happen either. Instead, they will begin manufacturing the Ford Focus in China instead of the U.S., according to a press release on Tuesday. Ford says that the move will save them $1 billion in investment costs, but they also say that no U.S. hourly employees will be out of a job because of the Chinese factory. Earlier this year, Ford announced a $1.2 billion investment in 3 new Michigan factories. This prompted the president to tweet that car companies are coming back to the U.S. Jobs, jobs, jobs. Maybe he should have said gongzua, 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 because Ford is coming off a record year in China as they sold 1.27 million vehicles in the country last year. This was a 14% gain over 2015. But the Michigan plants aren't closing yet, even as Ford shifts production of the Focus completely overseas. At the Michigan plants, Ford plans to produce the Ranger pickup in late 2018, the Bronco midsize SUV in 2020, and a steady stream of unemployment claims in 2022. And finally, Obamacare is safe for now. The Trump administration decided to pay insurers subsidies for the month of June, which is critical to keeping the Affordable Care Act alive. The payments are used to reimburse insurers for providing discounted insurance to low-income patients. What, did you think they were doing it out of the goodness of their hearts? Without these subsidies, insurers would likely flee the market, dealing a death blow to Obamacare, which is why many expected the administration to forget to pay the bill. Insurers have been threatening to leave the markets if they don't receive a decision about future payments. This comes after months of Trump threatening to stop the payments in order to keep the healthcare system afloat. It also comes at the same time that the Senate is hammering out their competing healthcare plan in a secretive skull and bones-like basement ritual. While Trump has repeatedly told us that insurers are fleeing the market, he hasn't been clear on why. According to insurers, the proposed double-digit increases for premiums are due to the uncertainty over what our healthcare system will look like even next month, never mind next year. Yet Republicans insist that Obamacare is collapsing under its own weight. They even went so far as suing the Obama administration over the subsidy payments last year. Surprisingly, the courts sided with the House, but the Obama administration appealed the decision. The Trump administration has not yet decided if they will drop the appeal or not. But at least for now, you can keep your health insurance, so enjoy it while it lasts. This was Luc Goodhart for 5 on 20 News. Stay cool out there and stay creative, Tucson. Good night.